A reading from the Gospel of Luke. Jesus said, "But know this, if the owner of the house had known at what hour the thief was coming, he would not have let his house be broken into. You also must be ready, for the Son of Man is coming at an unexpected hour." Peter said, "Lord, are you telling this parable for us or for everyone?" And the Lord said, "Who then is the faithful and prudent manager whom his master will put in charge of his slaves to give them their allowance of food at the proper time? Blessed is that slave whom his master will find at work when he arrives. Truly, I tell you, he will put that one in charge of all of his possessions. But if that slave says to himself, 'My master is delayed in coming,' and if he begins to beat the other slaves, men and women, and to eat and drink and get drunk, the master of that slave will come on a day when he does not expect him, and at an hour when he does not know, and will cut him in pieces and put him with the unfaithful. That slave who knew what his master wanted but did not prepare himself or do what was wanted will receive a severe beating. But the one who did not know and did what deserved a beating will receive a light beating. From everyone to whom much has been given, much will be required, and from the one to whom much has been entrusted, even more will be demanded." That is a bracing vision that Jesus gives us in the Gospel of Luke. And just as a little bit of background, just a few verses back, you will have had Jesus assuring them, "Hello, my little ones, blessed are you, and the kingdom, God intends for you to have the kingdom, and you are safe and well." So this is sort of a follow-on to say the kingdom is coming and God desires for you the best, but you need to be preparing yourself and be ready for that moment when the kingdom comes in its fullness. And if you don't, here are the consequences that are likely to unfold. And so it's really it's a teaching from Jesus about what it means to be ready in discipleship, to be living as a disciple of Christ, and how it is that we are to prepare ourselves day by day and to prepare for the fullness of God's kingdom and the fullness of God coming into our lives, and what's our preparation for that. I am reminded by this chapter today of a story that happened in my life just about a year before the pandemic struck, and large conference that we were putting on at St. James, and a national speaker, and I was in charge of the event and running to and fro, hither and yon. And I received a text from one of my dearest, oldest friends from high school saying that her husband and his sister were at O'Hare and stranded. And would it be possible for them to come join me at my house that night for an overnight? And as luck would have it, I had been doing a really good job of, for my own pleasure and for my own comfort, kind of tidying my house, maybe more vigorously than I normally would have throughout my life. And I just had gotten into a great rhythm of wanting to make my environment prepared for myself when I came home from work, stress-free, feeling welcomed into this wonderful environment. And so it just so happened that maybe for the only time in my life ever, when somebody called and said, "We're at the airport, can we come stay with you?" I could with confidence say, "Yes, take an Uber to my apartment. Here is the address and the doorman. I'll instruct him to let you in and let you up. And you can just make yourself comfortable while I finish what I'm doing here." Now, I'm not telling you that to brag, although it does make me feel very happy just remembering that. And I have to say, I haven't continued exactly in that same vein throughout all of the ravages of COVID. I'm not sure the same scenario would unfold this week, for instance, if that happened again. But I will tell you that it gives me a real life example of what it feels like to be unconcerned when I hear the news that someone has arrived unexpectedly. And that sense of calm and gratitude, the gratitude that I was able to, with a clear conscience and an open heart and no shame whatsoever, to say, "Yes, absolutely, come to my home. It's ready and prepared for anyone to walk in. And there's nothing I'd rather do than welcome you, my dear friends and relatives of dear friends." And I think that's the vision that Jesus is trying to put into our heads when he gives us this parable, if you will, of the ready and the unready servant, the faithful and the unfaithful servant. It's making ourselves ready. It's living our lives day by day so that we can welcome Christ in whatever form Christ is showing up, so that we can hear that the fullness of God's kingdom is coming into being, that whatever that will look like, and to know I'm actually at peace and I'm okay, and maybe I'm not perfect, but I have prepared and I am ready for this moment. So perhaps you have those same sort of stories, examples in your life of times when you felt horrified and unprepared when something emerged, and where you felt that wonderful sense of calm and peace in yourself, and sort of integrity, at rest in yourself, uh, when things have come up in an equally unexpected way. I hope that Jesus' teaching, more than frightening us, will inspire us to live lives of faithful discipleship, where we prepare. We prepare for God to come into our lives even more fully day by day, and we are at rest and we are at peace, and we are joyful in imagining that coming again. May God be with you today in this meditation, and may God bless you and keep you this day and always. Amen.